You ever notice how Mario characters have changed since the NES days? They've gained more depth and nuance than they started out with, and that process continues today. Just look at Luigi. He's gone from a mere palette swap to having his own identity and motivations. His status as perpetual second fiddle and his timid yet courageous nature have endeared him to gamers worldwide. It's a shame that Smash Bros. Has dropped the ball on him so much. Still built around the Mario's moveset but weirder concept he had in the first game, Luigi in Smash is a name associated with polarizing extremes, crippling lows, and a lot of cheese tactics. While some aspects of his personality are present, one of gaming's biggest lovable underdogs has somehow become one of the most toxic characters in all of Smash. But what if we could remake Luigi's fighter design, keep the stuff that works, and overhaul the rest? Tapping into aspects Smash has left untouched so far, we could make such a beloved character someone people want to cheer for instead of against. It won't be easy, but I think we could pull it off. So without further ado, let's remake it! Updating Luigi's appearance is less about his character model and more about how Smash depicts him. In the Mario games, he's less confident and more fearful than his brother, especially around ghosts, has bouts of awkwardness, and shows signs of quietly envying Mario's fame and popularity. But he's also a good person at heart who always means well, and he pushes through his fears with impressive courage when it matters most. He's also quite humble, the kind of guy to score a goal and celebrate by thanking his teammates and/or the fans. But in Smash, most of that's been ignored in favor of playing up his awkwardness first, fearfulness second, and the rest hardly at all. His moveset is filled with weird animations, several of which feel like they're only there because they look weird. And for some reason, Smash keeps doubling down on this incomplete take, which has led to stuff that might be funny the first time it happens, but when it starts netting situationally disproportionate rewards for hardly any effort, it rubs people the wrong way. To better embody all of who Luigi is, and pivot away from the toxic stuff, we can have him undergo character development to catch up to his canon self. Several moves will be retooled or outright replaced, as he's picked up new techniques over the years to work into his repertoire. And with everything he's gone through since the early 2000s, including an entire year celebrating him, it's given Luigi some confidence now. So while his basic design will stay the same, and his alts can also stay because they're already a good color spread that even includes some deep cut references, we can alter his animations to reflect this character development. His moves overall will feel more deliberate, looking more like intentional attacks instead of desperate attempts to protect himself. But don't worry, he'll still be endearingly awkward in some spots. For example, a new entrance animation could have him jump out of the warp pipe excitedly, saying, "Ouija time!" But sometimes he messes up the landing and stumbles on one foot briefly before regaining his balance. Or a new victory animation could have him look around confused, then say, "I won? I won!" and smile in surprise like even he can't believe he pulled it off. Ideas like these would put more of Luigi's full personality on display, making him someone people want to cheer for instead of against. We might be changing things up, but some parts of Luigi will still be the same, like his fighting style. While his current moveset is controversial, especially competitively, he does have a player base, and I want this rework to be something they could adapt to as well. Helps that when you smooth out the more extreme stuff, what we have here is in character. A jack of all trades like his brother, Luigi can do a lot of different stuff competently. While we're changing focus away from the very high highs and low lows of his current kit, he'll continue to have a different take on the plumber archetype compared to Mario, just in a different way than before. And his best punishes will still come from grabbing people, both standard grabs and something new we'll get to later. For Luigi's exact stats, I kept his size and weight the same. Being a little taller than Mario gives him average-ish height within the roster, and he's still 1 point lighter than his brother as a solid middleweight. And you could do me a solid by subscribing, trying to reach more people, and the more people follow my content, the more it'll get recommended. Mobility stats, though? Those are quite different. While he's typically slower than Mario in the games where their stats differ, I've eased up on some parts of that, and Luigi mains in the crowd might have noticed one in particular. A significant buff to his airspeed brings him up from the second slowest in the air out of anyone to merely in the bottom fourth, making his movement less cripplingly linear than it's ever been. He also has small buffs to his run speed and fall speed, still slower than Mario and still on the floaty side, but this should make him less polarizing, and his trademark high jumps and slippery traction are still there. This theme of less extreme but still different kicks in for Luigi's offense as well. In Ultimate, he can seriously struggle to get in, but when he does, he has super fast attacks, high burst damage, and sometimes too easy of a time taking stocks early. Smoothing that out gives our take on Luigi a more well-rounded, yet still quirky, plan of attack. On one hand, his damage per hit has taken a hit, his attacks are a bit slower, and not being able to cheese people at will means his knockouts take longer to get on average. On the other, he still has very good combos, and he'll have an easier time getting those combos and gaining the advantage. Better mobility, new approach tools, and improved footsies will make him less reliant on hitting one or two specific things. More well-rounded tools for a more well-rounded Luigi. So how can we change Luigi's moveset for the better? Let's start with his most basic attacks. Luigi's jab combo is actually the same as before, a 1-2 punch followed by tackling the opponent posterior first. Even with his character development, Luigi still uses this one because it's surprisingly effective. Look, even he gets a kick out of it. His forward tilt's also mostly the same. A horizontal hook kick at medium height you can angle up or down. We can update the animation to have Luigi lean forward a little during the kick, giving it better range than before. This is where that part about getting better footsies comes in. Luigi's up tilt also got a touch up. He reaches further up with his arm than before and takes slightly longer to bring it down, and his expression is less wary than it once was. It looks more intentional now, and the reach and duration make it a better anti-air that still sets up combos. Luigi's down tilt continues the trend. With an altered animation, he sticks his foot out further than before, doesn't bring the rest of his body up as high, and doesn't curl his hands in a weird cat-like pose. While it's gained more end lag, its better reach and lower profile make it useful in more situations. It also has a chance to trip now, setting up tech chases and other shenanigans. Luigi's dash attack is something new. Replacing the old arm flail is a tough order, but I think we got something still in character in the form of a surprise flying kick with a burst of forward movement. That ends with him falling flat on his rear end. Trading the old move's active frames for a single hit with more power but also more end lag, this lets him punish and threaten from further away than before. Even takes stocks a little earlier. Luigi's smash attacks let us get flashier, and tap into more stuff straight from his games. Based on his signature hand power from Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga, his new forward smash has him bring his hands together, generate a ball of lightning, then shove one hand forward and create a multi-hit electric blast. Now a counterpart to Mario's forward smash, it's a bit slower than his old notably fast hand thrust, but its power is intact, its multiple hits are better at catching dodges and poking damaged shields, and its range is better too. I think we can pull a few more moves from spin-offs and other secondary games. The current moveset's already got stuff from Luigi's Mansion. His up smash is unchanged though, a swinging headbutt that's very hard to disrupt because his head can't be hurt during it. It's one hell of an anti-air callout and his best vertical finisher. Luigi's down smash is functionally similar to before, but with a new animation. He's had a spinning kick for a while, but Mario recently upgraded his version to be more breakdance-like. Luigi's confident enough to try learning it too now, though he can't quite stick it, making the animation wilder and less steady as he struggles to stay balanced. This does give it a bit more power and range compared to Mario's, but also more startup and a lot more end lag as he falls down at the end and has to pick himself back up. With improved airspeed, Luigi's air game has a new lease on life, and it starts with a different neutral air, a quick version of the arm spin he and Mario do during a spin jump or many other things. While functionally similar to his old air, a quick pressure breaker with a long-lasting late hit, its animation is more unique, and its hitboxes are in different places. Luigi's forward air is, say it with me, similar but with an adjusted animation. He reaches further forward for the chop now for better range, in exchange for more end lag. While it's not the least laggy forward air in the game anymore, we can also change its knockback to be more diagonal. Combined with Luigi's no longer terrible airspeed, and this move can combo into itself at low percents. His back air is completely unchanged. This reverse dropkick works fine as is, being a quick damage dealer, edge guarder, and eventual KO move. Luigi's up air is also similar, but, you guessed it, got some footsies friendly changes. While it has a bit more startup, he sticks his leg out further now for better range. The hitbox also starts out lower than before, making it easier to use while landing. Down air is completely new though. You know that spinning leg kick Luigi's had on and off since Super Mario Bros. 2? He's weaponizing it here, using a more pronounced spinning motion and extra motion lines so it's not confused for his jump animation, to kick downward 4 times with alternating feet. It's a multi-hit down air that carries people with him and spikes at the end. Not the strongest of spikes, but when it's easier to set up, who's complaining? Luigi's grab game starts with a regular grab? He's going hand to hand for these again, saving the poltergust for something else. For now, this speeds up his default grabs and gives Luigi a way to threaten shields up close in a way that's less reactable. His pummel is the headbutt he had before Ultimate, and the one Mario still has. But for Luigi's throws, he's bringing out a different tool, his trusty hammer from the Mario and Luigi series. A new forward throw has him whip out the hammer and do a horizontal swing with a slight rise that whacks the opponent away, even deals more damage than before. Luigi's new back throw is an underhand hammer swing with a rising arc, like the one he uses to golf Mario at an enemy in their Knockback Bros attack. Still the same late kill throw as before, but with extra bonkability. Up throw has Luigi do a quick uppercut swing that knocks the opponent upward. Sets up juggles, but that's about it. But his down throw? Luigi does a full downward swing with a hammer that pounds the opponent into the ground, temporarily burying them. Like with Rob's down throw, this sets up 50-50 situations based on if you can guess when your opponent will break out. At very high percents, you get a guaranteed smash attack, though hopefully next game goes back to having buried opponents take less knockback. Finally, do Luigi's taunts need changing? Well, one of them. I replaced the old planking motion with one where he waves at the audience and says,
"Thank you very much."
Fits his personality, lets you shout out supporters, and also lets you poke fun at an opponent who just messed up and gave you the lead. His other 2 taunts I left intact. I couldn't mess with them, especially not his infamous kick. Maybe the multi-pose could be even more expressive, showing he's exaggerating on purpose for fun? We've retooled and updated Luigi's moveset already, but what will his specials do now? Well, let's start with one that actually stayed the same. A recolored counterpart to Mario's Fireball, this one decided obeying gravity is for losers and goes straight forward instead. Luigi's had plenty of fire-based attacks before, so it still works. It also has the same role, poking at opponents and opening them up to make getting in on them easier. A simple projectile for aiding approaches still fits Luigi's playstyle, so it can stay. That's the only special that hasn't changed, so brace yourself, because Luigi's side special is all new. Kinda. Unlike Mario, Luigi has borrowed from other elements in various games. One of them is wind. He's had a few tornado-themed moves in different spin-offs. On use, Luigi winds up and spins forward, dealing multiple hits to anyone in the way before a final attack launches them, which sounds like the old Luigi Cyclone with extra momentum, but it's got some key differences. It doesn't just propel him forward, it generates a full-on miniature tornado with swirling green-tinted winds that cover him completely. Anyone too close to the whirlwind gets pulled in for the rest of the move and sent out at the end, which kinda sounds like Ken's side special functionally, but it stands out from other Tatsu-type moves too by bringing over one of Luigi's Cyclone's quirks. Pressing B repeatedly makes the tornado gain height, aiding his recovery and giving him multiple different travel paths to mix people up. Spin Tornado is a more evolved version of Luigi's old down special moved to his side special. While it lacks Green Missile's random misfires or the old Luigi Cyclone's instant invincibility, it has quicker burst movement than both, and its flexibility helps make his recovery less painfully linear, and you still don't go into freefall afterward. But fire and wind aren't the only elements Luigi has used. We've tapped another for his moveset already, and now his up special will use it too. Luigi's used lightning a few times before, he's using it for his forward smash now, and he's going to work it into his recovery too by combining it with his old one. Press up and B, and Luigi stops and prepares the usual jump punch, but this time electric energy begins building up around him. If you tap the B button, he does a simple rising punch with a weak hitbox, though not as pathetic as the old Sour Spot. But you can hold B now to build up electricity, and the longer you hold, the stronger the punch becomes, and the somewhat further he rises when you let go. And if you hold it about 3/4 of a second to max it out, Luigi rockets upward using a powerful electric explosion that goes off where he started at. Nearly as strong as the original move's infamous sweet spot, it may be slower, but its hitbox is bigger and just as destructive. Thunder Jump Punch takes the old move, adds a new element, tones down the cheese, but still allows for big plays. Since the big hit requires a long hold first, you can't whip it out at the drop of a hat to finish a combo. But since it's bigger and easier to hit when you do get that full charge, it has that super heavy smash attack factor. Kills early, scares opponents by existing, and if you connect with it, you earned it. But wait, something's missing. You remember that thing we took out of Luigi's moveset earlier? Well, now it's here in a different form. Literally, he's used a few different Poltergust models before, and this time Professor E. Gadd thought ahead and modified the Poltergust G00 for fighting non-ghost entities in Smash. On use, Luigi straps on the modded Poltergust and starts to charge it. Like with Mario's Flood, you can store the charge for later, with the device staying on Luigi's back. When fully charged, a new light on it glows green to indicate it's at full power. But full charge or not, press again once the Poltergust is out to fire its plunger forward, grabbing anyone it touches right out of the air and pulling them to you for a grab. The more you charge, the further the plunger flies, going up to 1/3 of an average stage length and eclipsing the range of Luigi's old grabs. And since it's a command grab tied to a special, you can use it in the air too. Once you've caught someone, you can press forward, back, or up to have the Poltergust repel them in those directions. Oh, and if you catch a loose item with the plunger, Luigi will pull it in and pick the item up to use himself. The Poltergust SB is an odd command grab that works off a storable charge, has multiple follow-ups, and gives Luigi extra answers to characters like Diddy or Rob who rely heavily on items. The throw follow-ups are strong enough when grounded to be functional kill throws, giving Luigi a big scary ranged grab option to go with his up-close regular grabs. Though they're weaker when used in the air, the move has greater end lag when airborne regardless of if it connects, and the plunger itself no longer has a separate hitbox. All that's left is Luigi's final smash. How do we close this one out? How about the strongest form he's ever had? The fourth Mario & Luigi title gave him special powers tied to its setting's dream world, and now he's found a way to bring it with him. Channeling the Smash Ball's energy, Luigi stands tall and suddenly falls asleep? But as he does so, the surrounding air on all sides gains a strange pinkish energy, and any opponents nearby who aren't shielding also fall asleep as a cinematic kicks in where they're pulled into the dream world with him. The scene changes to an otherworldly dreamscape with Luigi waiting for them, as he glows even more brilliantly, pulls his hat down, and suddenly grows to the size of a giant in the blink of an eye. The no longer little brother smirks confidently, takes out an equally massive hammer, and takes a mighty swing that hits his opponents so hard they're sent clear over the horizon. Cutting back to the waking world, the affected foes take a huge hit for real as the Dream Attack's power has affected their physical bodies too. Goes to show, there's much more to the man in green than meets the eye. And there, a revamped take on Luigi that overhauls the rough parts, brings in more stuff he's used in his games, and adjusts his fighting style and optimal tactics to something less uncharacteristically toxic. Toning down the extremes Smash has saddled him with gives him an amusingly weird yet well-rounded kit with unique tools at his fingertips and some impressive potential if he gets the right reads. Now this lovable underdog should be as easy to cheer for in Smash as he is in his games. Because let's be honest, the last thing Luigi would want is for other people to hate him. So, Luigi mains / fans in the crowd, how'd I do? Did I handle him better than Smash currently does? I hope I found the right balance of spin-off / secondary content, tried not to over-rely on references, but I thought since Mario sticks to mainline titles for inspiration, Luigi could work in some stuff from the secondary games. Also hoping I didn't cross a line by removing Green Missile and his old sweet spot-based Super Jump Punch. I wanted to tone down the randomness and cheese factor while making the replacements engaging enough that fans would still like them. And if I did do well, check out my other content. I create movesets for characters who haven't made it into Smash yet. I'm doing an ongoing series where I rank the roster on how well designed I think they are, and other topics too. Special thanks to these folks for helping with this video. Shout out to my patrons as well. Like Luigi himself knows, it always helps to have support. And now it's their time to shine. Any current patrons can vote on which of these two characters gets their Smash designs remade next. Wonder who it'll be. So, until next time, keep your distance from any suspicious-looking mansions.